Hola, hola, part 2. Hola. All right, you guys. So I did make my custom orange. This is red and yellow from Fantasia Fondant. So just FYI. You do need more than, this is about a pound of fondant, not even, you do need more, but I'm going to show you the trick of how you get more. Some of you might know this because you've taken my class before, but I do want to show you guys. But before we cover the cake, I do want to cover the top part of the cake because we're going to need all the orange that we can get. We can make some more orange, but we don't want the orange to be discolored from the top to the bottom. We want it to be the same orange, even if we're gonna make it gruesome and whatnot. So get your Rice Krispie Treats. Approximately 6. You could do 4. Again, it just depends on the size that you're going to make your cake. I'm gonna be using 6 because I'm gonna squeeze them together. And all I'm doing is squeezing it into a circle. Remember, we have that flat top. Get our roller, which looks nice. And then we're gonna bring our cake just for a little bit of measurement and just see, okay, perfect. Just measure it just to be on the safe side. So what you want to do now is bring it down like so. So you're getting the edges and you're sliding it down like this. Yes, it may look like a square right now, but don't worry about it. This is what you're going for. Now, you could flip it over and do this motion since you already did the edges like so. It's completely up to you how you want to do it at this point, okay? There's no wrong way, as long as you got the edges flattened out like so. You can flip it, you can keep flipping it however you want to do it. This is a nice little trick to getting tops that are carved like this, okay? So it was 6 Rice Krispie squares. Mashed them together, trying to make a circle as good and as possible as we could. And now we're just seaming out the edges. Bringing them out. Bringing them out. Perfect. Now what you want to do is just make a circle. Even if the circle's a little squarish, it's okay. Because it's how people carve out the top. You have extra. If you want to be perfect and precise, you can do it how you choose. I feel it's a cake. It's supposed to look like a pumpkin. Pumpkins aren't perfect. But you can definitely shape it. But as long as you got those edges going downwards, okay? Like a heel. It should look like a hill. A heel. Can't learn my language anymore. Okay, and all you want to do is get your cake, measure. It's looking pretty good. I feel like I can squeeze it a little more, make it a little more rounder, smaller. Mira. You guys are gonna love me for this. Now, I've seen a lot of people put tongue twister. I've seen a lot of people put buttercream on this. You can if you want to. It's completely up to you. I prefer not to because I don't want to make my life difficult. I'm just gonna get a piece of the orange. And then we're just going to spread it out. So to keep from getting those little crackles of the Rice Krispie and getting a nice smooth surface, all you have to do is get a nice thick layer of orange and cover it. If you want fine grooves, on there, by all means, you can put pieces of fondant like so. It doesn't even have to be the same color because you're doing it underneath. So you can just get, because you want them to match up with the pumpkin. So if you're gonna do whatever you're gonna do here, you're gonna do on the pumpkin, remember that. So if you want, you can do this, ta-da, and give it lines. But whatever lines you give it here, you're gonna give the pumpkin, okay? We're not gonna fill the middle in with lines because we're gonna put the bark there, the tree, the trunk. Mira. I'm so glad I feel better, y'all. I miss y'all teaching classes. I really did. Pregnancy is no joke. All right, so again, whatever you do to the top, you want it to look symmetrical to the bottom of the pumpkin. So if you're doing 6 grooves, we're gonna do 6 grooves on the pumpkin. Just keep that in mind. I'm gonna be more difficult and I'm gonna give it a little bit more. Technically, you could put these on the sides like so and you wouldn't have to do any grooves in there. I don't know, to me it just seems weird. So just put the grooves in there. Again, this is one option. You don't have to do this. Completely up to you. So what you wanna do now is get your rolling pin. And literally just give yourself, make sure you mash it back together, a hole like that. Now we're gonna get our fondant. Now, if you don't like the grooves and you want the grooves that go in and not out, all you have to do is go in there, shape it with your finger because you put that fondant in there, and there you go. A lot of people like their pumpkins differently. So all you're doing is shaping that fondant with your finger, like so. You can get a balling tool, do the same thing. It's completely up to you. You see? But I just feel like it's easier for you to use your finger, like so. Any questions at this point, you guys? Don't be shy, ask away. Now, you can emphasize the grooves more as soon as you put it on top of the pumpkin. All we're doing is folding it in. We want to give it that lip. You're just mesmerized. You learn a lot of tricks with me, I'm telling you. So all we're doing, now if it still looks a little too square, you can do that, Merritt, you can do that. But the problem that I ran into with that is once you did that, you could put the fondant over that, but you got a lot of the Rice Krispie residue chunks in there and they would poke through here. So that's why I do it with the fondant, overlay the fondant and just smooth it out. But you could do it the other way too if you want to. It's completely up to you. I just found this way to be easier. Yes. So you could do the grooves however you want. I just found this to be way easier. So now you have your hole for your trunk, your tree. Okay, so the fun part comes, and this is what I've been wanting to show you guys. Let me just grab something real quick. We'll do the trunk as soon as we get the cake covered. Okay, so I have a little bit of cornstarch. Let me put this to the side. It's really hot here, so everything here gets sticky. That's why I love Fantasia Fondant. Okay. So get your orange. Now, I obviously don't have enough orange to cover it's about 7 inches, 6 inches carved, high cake, 8 inches round, right? Well, I could with Fantasia fondant, but we want the extra thickness because of the pumpkins. They're pretty big and sturdy. They're big guys. So, here we go, there's that. Now, the closest color to orange would be red and yellow mixed together. Obviously, it makes orange. But the closest color would be yellow. So, I'm putting yellow in the middle. And this is how you get more fondant. If you don't want to do this, just mix some more or get some more orange. Whatever you choose to do, I will not judge you. I just want to show you, just in case you run out of orange. I promise you this works. I've done this so many times when I've ran out of so many colors. You know us, always running out of stuff at the last minute. So I forgot, I think I Googled this, I'm not too sure. I can't tell you. I don't remember how I learned it. Okay. The more you put, the more it will seep through. But just keep in mind, if you don't need it for that much, then by all means do it. But what I like about this, if you put more and it does start seeping through, it gives us this really cool pumpkin yellow effect. It's completely up to you guys. You can see a little bit, which is not too bad. I just want to make sure I have enough. And the top, no one's going to see the top anyways. Same thing when you're stacking 2-tier cakes. No one's going to see the top. Just a nice little trick to have up your sleeve, just in case. If you already know this, then you're already on the right track. This is the muscle work, you guys. This is what takes all the work, right? All right. So there's our cake. Now, we don't want to glue this on there, but we do want to measure where the seams are. So just with our fingers, okay, and then we'll take it back off and just work at it. You can hide any mistakes. I've taught you guys this so many times. You can hide any mistakes. The brown at the bottom doesn't matter. You're gonna cover it with green grass, green moss, green whatever, with dirt, however you want to cover the bottom board. Now, you can cover the cake in Crisco before you put the fondant on. It's completely up to you. But it's actually pretty sweaty in here for me enough to work with it. Okay, so what you want to do is work the bottom, work it in. Don't worry about the buttercream lines, you guys. Work those fingers in the bottom like so. Cut about 1/2 inch away. Take that excess out. And then you can just tuck it. And then anything you tuck, you can hide with the grass, gravel, pebbles, whatever it is that you're gonna be putting under there, okay? I don't suggest you do the pumpkin without anything being at the bottom, only because you'll lose that aspect of spooky, scary, you know, that whole Halloween feel. I'd put graham crackers at least, you know, dye the graham crackers black or something. Completely up to you, but my suggestion. All right. So I just want to round this out a little bit more. Actually, looks like we made it a little fatter. We'll stretch it out. No biggie. See how it's smaller than the pumpkin? All you want to do is stretch it out. All we have to do. That's why we have to measure it ahead of time. There we go. All you have to do, stretch it out. No biggie. There's always a way to fix it. And this is the problem that a lot of people run into. They think they made it too big or too bulky. No, you just have to stretch the sides out, literally, and work it. Everything takes time. See, but this is why you do it ahead of time, and you do the Rice Krispie and you smooth it, the Rice Krispie out more, only to avoid this. And I'm trying to condense this in 2 hours for you guys, so bear with me. What's a good deal? 2 hours for $35? What? All right. So I'm just putting the grooves in there some more. We are not going to put it on the pumpkin yet because we still have to put the fingers, the eyes, all that good stuff. Alright, I'm not going to mess with this for too long because I want to show you guys everything else. Don't worry about the edges. Just make sure it lines up with the pumpkin, like so. And that we can cut and crop this. See how it fits perfect now? You'll see it when it comes together, trust me. All right, so we made the lines. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 lines on there. We did put a groove right here, groove here, fill it right there. Look at this, we're doing all this by hand. If you need your guide, again, you can use your guide. You see this one's a little darker than this one. It's okay, we're gonna make this, it's gonna look awesome. Trust me. But I just really like the effect that yellow gave it. If you don't like it, then don't add it. Just use a regular orange, and that's it. Okay, do you guys see the pumpkin coming together? Now I gotta show you the eyes. Sit down for this part. So now that we have the grooves in here, you can use your tool or you're gonna keep using your hands. It's completely up to you. I really like how that yellow is like hitting the sun right now. Make sure you have the grooves coming up here because the grooves will be hitting on the top. You see that? It'll look like an awesome pumpkin. Okay, make sure you flatten out the top right here. Put a little bit of a groove with your finger or a tool, whatever you want to use. Just flatten it out. All that extra buttercream is working itself around here. How perfect does this pumpkin look? Oh my god, I'm loving it. Okay, now for the eyes. So you're gonna pick a spot where you wanna put the eyes. It's completely up to you if you wanna put them there, here, there, wherever you wanna put them. Any questions so far? All right, none? Okay. So we're gonna put the eyes right here. You can get a triangle cutter and just map where you wanna put the eyes. I prefer to freehand everything, like I said. Just get a cutter, save yourself some time. You can do this. Remember, we're working with buttercream underneath here, so whatever mistake you make, you can just erase it, okay? Promise you. If you need to get a pin needle and get some air out of there, remember, once you remove the air, it's gonna stick to the buttercream, okay? Once you remove the air, there's air pockets in here, you'll remove them when you're done. But if you remove any air right now, it's gonna stick to the buttercream and you're gonna have a harder time shaping it. That's just my opinion. It's up to you. All right, so I'm just going to shape the eyes really quick. So there's one. And I'm gonna push the buttercream in and around the eye because I wanted to give it a 3D effect. See that? Now you can give it an angry look. Trust me when I tell you this method works. A lot of secrets people are not telling people. I don't know why, but this method works. You can do this with any shaped cakes, okay? Now, don't remove the air pockets from here yet. You know, I wouldn't suggest removing the air pockets at all, only because it gives you this really cool effect. It's not gonna dry the cake, it's already trapped in the cake, so don't worry about it drying out the cake or anything like that. Make sure you have enough fondant so it's elastic enough for you to use it this way. You can also put Crisco on your fingers if you want. All right, so look at our little guy. How spectacular is he looking? He's looking great, right? Now, depending on the smile, you can print out a smile, a jack-o'-lantern smile. There's printables everywhere right now because Halloween's coming up. Again, I'm gonna freehand it. It just really depends on what you want. Let me see. He's gonna have a pretty big smile. Let's put one tooth here. I'm gonna give him one tooth. We're gonna call him One Tooth Smuggy. So we're gonna put one tooth here. So everything inside the line, we're going to make sure we push in. You can use your balling tip. He's got one tooth, so you're fine. Now again, if you feel like you need, look at that. He's gonna look awesome. If you feel like you need to get the air out, by all means, do it. Small one. Make sure you indent it pretty well so that you see the indentation, you see his one tooth, you see it. He has one tooth right there. Just smooth out anything else. Once we put the black in there, you won't be able to tell like the other lines that are coming out. So don't worry about that. All right, so about this time, we're gonna start with our black fondant. Again, you can paint the inside of this. It's completely up to you. if you want to paint it. Personally, if you don't want to get messy, don't paint it. I'm going to show you painting and I'm going to show you fondant and see which one you prefer. The one in the flyer I did paint and it came out pretty awesome. But again, you guys choose what you want. Let me get an extract. This is a powdered food black color from AmeriColor. I got this at my store up in Phoenix, Arizona. Now, you can put it back in the fridge if you feel like it's melting or if it's too hot. Again, completely up to you. Alright, so I have some almond extract right here. You can use whatever kind of extract you want. And I'm going to mix that with some of this black food color. It's like luster, not luster dust, but powder dust. A little goes a long way, but if you want it super, 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 super black, add more. Again, if you don't want to do it this way, you can just put fondant. It's completely up to you. I give you that choice. All right, so you would just get it. You can even dust this in, you guys. You don't have to paint it. So all you're doing is going in. Oh, sorry. Here we go. Going in and painting what we indented. Okay. Did I just do that? I just did that, didn't I? It's okay. I will fix it. But because it's indented like that, it gives it more of a 3D creepy feel, creepy effect. Because we gave it that 3D effect. And if you want, you know, shade one side more than the other, it just gives it that extra creepy feel. Shading it one side versus another side. The structure, you know, wanting it to look one way or the other, just completely up to you. So there's one eye. And again, when it's cooled down, you could squish it in some more, mold it, completely up to you, or you could just on it, whatever you want to do. I like for it to look gory, so I like painting and I like messing around with stuff, but it's completely up to you. Like I said, if you're using a triangle cutter, perfect. Then you just cut the triangle size out. Unfortunately, I did this by hand, so I'm hoping this is the right size. If not, I'll just gotta cut out the right size. Ooh, almost. All right. I'm a rebel like that. Y'all know this. So, then you would stick it on there, okay? And then you would push it in like so. Again, this one's a little sloppy. Completely up to you, however you want to do it. If you want the fondant, then use the fondant. I'm not judging. I'm not judging. Let me see. I'll make this smaller. Any questions right now, you guys? Any questions? Questions? Excuse me. Ta-da! All right. Now I am zipping through this part because I don't want it to melt. It's really hot in Arizona right now. So there is a crease right here. Make sure you do keep that crease in your pumpkin. It's gonna make it more alive. With the mouth, again, if you have a template, it's much easier. Everything else I just paint in but it's completely up to you. However you want to do it, however creepily you want him to be. Okay, I'm just trying to get a feel for what he's gonna consist of. So if you guys have no questions, I will just continue to keep working. I will turn the pumpkin over again. Give me a second. I believe it's like right there. Let's hope I'm right. Yay! You see his one tooth McGee? Make sure you do keep this and you tuck it in and keep that 3D effect in the pumpkin, okay? You can put your edible glue, you can use your Tylose water mix, whatever you want to do. I just want to make sure this doesn't fall down. Alright, alright. He looks a little creepy. What do you guys think? Talking to myself lately. It's okay. Make sure you put those grooves in there. Bring those grooves back. Those grooves aren't in there for a reason. Alright. He looks a little slanted. Gives him character. Again, you don't have to have that. Hey, thanks, Alejandra. Now, what you can do with this powder is you can use a little bit of the black or a little bit of the red or whatever color you decide to get and do a little dusting, okay? It doesn't have to be a lot. A little goes a long way, and you'll see what I'm talking about. See that? It just emphasized that dent right there. And I didn't put a lot. There's not a lot on my finger. See that? It just gives it the proper shading. Now, if you really want to go all in, you know, put a lot more, but we're only doing the little shading parts, okay? We're just emphasizing it a little bit, not a ton. It smells like almond over here. Now you can shade around the eyes. See that? You can shade around them. Shade around the mouth. The shading has to be wherever you left it, okay? Alright, so the easiest part about doing the blood and stuff is working with poppy paints. If you don't have poppy paints, you can, you can use a powdered red, like we use the black, and mix it with some flavoring as well. So let's not forget our little guy right here. I'm going to do the grooves. I'm going to put some black in between the grooves. Okay. Nice and flat. The flatter the better, you guys. And I apologize, I'm trying to condense this week-long cake into 2 hours. Alright, so let's make sure they match up. Sweet. Just bring it down, bring it down. You can flatten it some more if you need to. And then we're gonna put our fingers. One's gonna go down his face like so. The other one's gonna go down the other. Make sure you are definitely putting the glue to put these in place, okay? So now we got our fingers in there. Glue them in place so they come down this way. Remember, you can paint these black or whatever color you want. You can give the fingers an ugly, dirty look. Completely up to you. All right. Okay, so now we're gonna have to put our worms somewhere. So I say, you know, edible glue. I'm just using my water and my black for right now. Get our worms and stick them somewhere around there, wherever you feel like. Coming out of the mouth, squeezing that out. Coming out from right here. Wherever you want to put them. Don't forget our eyeball, because our eyeball is going to be coming out from right here, but we can't attach that quite yet because we got to make some red veins, and we're just going to stick that on there. We are going to do the ear very bloody. You see how awesome he's coming out? You got to put it all together, I'm telling you guys. So I got some red poppy paint. I'm just shaking up. Make sure you flatten the top out. If you don't like the way it looks, flatten it out. The flatter, the better. So all I'm gonna do is get poppy paint and let it drip. That's all I'm doing. You see that? Let's see if we can zoom in. Oh. Too much zoom. All right, there we go. So we get some poppy paint. You don't have to put this top on yet. You could just take it off. And you can put the top back on. However you want to do this, you guys. The creepier, the better. Once you add the grass at the bottom, oh, it's on. It's on, like Donkey Kong. If you don't have poppy paints, again, just use red coloring and put some flavoring or extract in there and it'll drip like that. I just like poppy paints because it drips faster and better. You can also paint it on. Depends on what you want to do. All right. So let's get some red. We're still gonna do the stem, don't worry. So we're gonna get some red. Did that finger fall off? Of course it did. And we're just gonna make little veins like so. And then we're gonna attach them to the eyes, like that. So quiet. This pesky little fly is coming out of nowhere and it's annoying me. So if you want them all the way around, it's completely up to you. Okay? All you gotta do is let this dry ahead of time. If you need to, leave that for about 24 hours, then put it in the cake. Let the cake also cool, put in the fridge. Because sometimes people don't let it set in the fridge. And then you might have a sloppy, floppy cake because it wasn't ready to be decorated. Okay, so you can even make a hole to have the worm coming out of the eyeball itself. So if you put a hole in there, looks like the worm is coming out of there. You can dust this up again if you want. Make it dirty. You can make it dirty. You use red, you can use black. Oh yeah, the ear. How gruesome does that look? Look at that, you guys. That was like a bloody mess scene. I kind of like this right now, so I'm gonna go with that. You guys, that looks pretty friggin' awesome. I like experimenting. If you don't, again, do it how exactly you want to do it. Make sure these little wormy guys are a little grunged up. They're dirty. They're not super clean. Look at them, okay? You can have them coming out of everywhere, out the wooza. Is that what they say? Out the wooza? Now we're gonna do the red. We're gonna just do a little bit of red. We're gonna dirty this pumpkin up. Ah, that poppy paint dries fast. Let me see. Zoom out. Perfect. Now we're gonna do the top. Now the top, we're just gonna get brown and build that stem on there. What I really like is that I found this mold by Sugary Essentials. Let me see, stick that there. Make it grungy, make it dirty. It's supposed to be spooky. So I found this wood grain mold, Sugary Essentials on, flatten this out. I'm getting OCD right now, but flatten this out as much as you can, okay? And then make sure the grooves go along with the pumpkin. That's all I ask. So we're gonna get approximately 2 inches to 2.5 inches of brown, and we're gonna make a cone like so, and we're just gonna roll it in this stencil. You don't have to do this. You can just put the carving in by hand. I just thought it was pretty neat to have this handy. And then put your thumb in there like so. There's your pumpkin guy. Now, again, add the green moss, add a black background. It looks different because in the picture there's a black background, there's green moss, and there's a side tomb on there, which you could do all on your own as well. But these are the basics of what the pumpkin is going to look like. Again, put those grooves in there, make it dirty, make it messy. I don't know how dirty you guys like it. Okay, that sounded weird. You know what I mean. But again, I like my stuff grungy. I don't want to make it too grungy, and then see. Once you start, you don't want to stop just messing with it. And I think that is what makes it look extra special. Is that all that grunginess and, but again, it's totally up to you guys. I don't want you to do something that you're not comfortable doing. If you want it to be a nice clean pumpkin, it could be a nice clean pumpkin. All up to you. Any questions, you guys? Remember, you can flatten this out. You can have this straight out. Put a toothpick in there. Put a dowel, a rod, whatever you want to do. And remember, you don't necessarily have to paint it. It does look a little rustic right there because we did paint the bottom, but I was giving you a choice. The blood itself, you can just do water, food coloring, and gelatin with a little bit of extract. I charged $185 for this one. It feeds approximately, I would say 45 people. Again, charge your time, material, how much water, gas, eggs, everything else that you used making this pumpkin. All right, guys, if you guys don't have any more questions, I gotta start making dinner. What time is it? Or lunch? I think I'm late. You're very welcome. Is that all, you guys? Remember, dirty it up, make it look gory, do what you want with it. You're so welcome. I hope you learned a lot of tricks and a lot of tips besides just making the pumpkin, but something else you could take and use with all your other works and edible creations. All right, you guys. Thank you for joining me. And again, thank you for taking the time to learn. Hasta luego. Hasta luego, yeah. Oh, you're so welcome.